So our today's topic is riverboat problem. We will be discussing how to use the concept of relative velocity in riverboat problem. So our topic is riverboat problems. Okay. So in this topic I will be directly using the concept of the relative velocity and the vectors. Here the mathematical governing equation will be like if Vb is the velocity of boat with respect to ground. Okay, and let us suppose Vr is the velocity of river with respect to ground. Okay, then the velocity of boat with respect to river will be Vbr. Okay, let us write all these in the vector forms. Vbr will be velocity of boat with respect to river. Okay, so now let us write the mathematical governing equation for this topic, that is mathematical equation that is very much useful. Mathematical equation, so the important equation is like velocity of boat with respect to river, that will be equal to velocity of boat minus velocity of river with respect to ground. Okay, now again reshuffling this equation, we can write velocity of boat, that will be equal to velocity of boat with respect to river plus velocity of river with respect to ground. Okay, so this is the most important equation for this topic. Now let us assume like illustrate with an illustration we will understand this concept. Let us assume this is a river. Okay, and let us assume that the width of the river is given as like d. Okay, it is flowing in this direction. Okay, this is the river flowing in the right direction, and let us suppose that this is the direction of velocity of boat with respect to river. Okay, and this is the direction of velocity of flow of the river, that is velocity of river with respect to ground. Okay, so according to this equation, that equation number 1, the resultant of these two vectors will be equal to, that their resultant is like this is the resultant vector, this is the resultant velocity vector of these two velocities, that will be equal to velocity of boat with respect to ground. Okay, now again if I take this example with some more illustrations, like this is the river. Okay, and here let us suppose that this is the velocity of boat with respect to river, and this is the direction of velocity of river, and let us assume that this angle will be theta. Okay, now if I resolve the components into the perpendicular and the horizontal direction, then the component of VBR along this perpendicular direction will be VBR cos theta. Okay, and the component of this VBR along horizontal direction will be VBR sin theta. Now here I can illustrate that there are the two velocity vectors, like there are the two vectors which are having a magnitude of, one is this VBR cos theta, and one is this VR minus VBR sin theta. Okay, so basically this is the component of this velocity along this y cap direction, and this is, let us suppose, x cap direction. This is our y cap direction. Then their component of the resultant of these two velocities, let us suppose it is like this. So this will be our velocity of bot with respect to ground. Okay. Now one more important point is, we have to understand the language of the question, like what are the things that are written in the question and how we will be understanding that. So here I will write some points that we have to remember. Like our first point is, if it is written in the question like this, like first, like it is being given like engine speed of the boat, is like 3 kilometer per hour. Okay, let us suppose it is being written in the question. Then what is this 3 kilometer per hour among this velocity of boat VB, or velocity of river VR, and velocity of boat with respect to river? Then what is this speed? Similarly, there is another statement that is usually asked in the questions, that velocity of the boat in the still water is given. Let us suppose it is velocity of boat in still water is like again we can take 3 kilometer per hour. Then how we will be interpreted this like statement, like what is it given? Is it velocity of boat with respect to river, or velocity of river itself? Again, the third type of statement is also continuously repeating in the questions. That statement is like if a boatman or swimmer, we can take, if a boatman tries to row his boat in a particular direction, like in a direction with respect to flow of river, with speed, again we can take 3 kilometer per hour. Let us pause. In this statement also what is the actual meaning of this 3 kilometer per hour? So if we will see anywhere in the questions that these three type of statement, that means in these three statements this 3 kilometer per hour is nothing but it is only the velocity of boat with respect to river only. Okay, so we just have to interpret like engine speed of the boat is given like 3 kilometer per hour. That means velocity of boat with respect to river is 3 kilometer per hour. Okay. Similarly, in the second statement, velocity of boat in still water is 3 kilometer per hour. That also means the same, that will BBR is given like 3 kilometer per hour. Okay. So these are some important points we have to remember. In the next video we will be discussing the crossing of the river. That is the main numerical part for this topic.